Hi everyone. Today's narrative writing lesson is all about learning how to write elaborative detail. What makes a book hard to put down? You know, a book that you want to read under the covers at night or with your best friend. The stories we love all have powerful, vivid, elaborative detail. Elaborative detail is the ability of the author to stop the story action and describe something important in the story, a story critical character, setting, or object. And if you look at the narrative writing diamond, you see that elaborative detail comes right after the entertaining beginning. But how can you write specific detail in your story? Well, one way might be to add describing words. Let's look at an example of that. I looked at the blue sky. What do you think of that description? Which blue sky? I don't think blue tells us enough, does it? It could be a bright morning blue sky or a dark midnight blue sky. Let's look at this one. I have a cool pet bird. Close your eyes and imagine this cool bird. Well, which bird is cool? It could be any of these birds, couldn't it? So, cool doesn't tell us anything either. What does cool tell the reader? Absolutely nothing. Let's look at how specific detail helps us to visualize the elements that are being described. Which bird do you think this one is? My bird has an orange beak, a bright blue head, and a red chest. Her back is covered in bright green feathers. I bet you know which bird we're talking about now, right? So which description is better? My bird has an orange beak, a bright blue head, and a red chest. Her back is covered in bright green feathers. Or the bird was cool. That's right. That specific description helps us to identify which bird we were describing. That's specific detail. The bird was cool. That's general detail. So once you know what you want to describe, now what? How do you do that? Well, as an author, we want to think about some questions that we can answer that will lead us to that kind of specific detail. Like these questions. What kind and color feathers? What type of beak? What kind and color legs? What kind and color wings? What kind of feet? How did it move? Once we have those questions in our mind, that will lead us to much more specific detail. So here's an example. Think about which bird is being described. Looking closely, I noticed the pretty pink feathers covering its body. The legs were long and thin, like sticks. The feathered friend had a long neck that was shaped like an S and a pointed pink beak. Which one is it? Absolutely, it's that flamingo. That kind of specific description helps you identify the bird or to visualize the element that's being described. Your teacher will show you how to use these questions. and show you how to use a sentence starter, because that will help to frame up your answers to those questions and to create a vivid, elaborative detail segment. Always write specific, elaborative detail in your narrative story in order to entertain your reader.